Hey everyone, and welcome. Whether you're here live or watching the replay, I'm so glad you're tuning in. I want to start with a quote that really captures the heart of this moment. Brené Brown once said, "Owning your story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we'll ever do." And that's exactly what the Empowered Self podcast is all about. Bravery, healing, and the messy, beautiful work of showing up as we are. I'm Krista Long. I'm a life coach in training, a group facilitator, and a long-time educator in personal development. I've worked for years supporting young people and adults in navigating change, building resilience, and developing emotional intelligence. And I'm also going to be a student come this September in UCC, University College Cork, where I get to study for my master's in personal and management coaching. And alongside of all of that, I'm a woman who's walked through 25 years of my own mental health challenges and found my way back to myself. This podcast is something I have been quietly nurturing for a long time and finally ready to share it with you. For years, I felt like I was surviving life, not living it. I know what it's like to feel disconnected, lost in systems, silenced by shame. But I also know what it's like to heal, to rediscover your own voice, to stand in your own story and say, "This is mine." And I am very proud of how far I've come. The Empowered Self podcast was born from that journey. It's a soul-led space where we share honest, courageous stories of growth, resilience, and transformation. It's for anyone who's ever felt like too much, not enough, or maybe somewhere in between. This podcast is for the ones who've walked through the fire and are now carrying the sparks of wisdom. This podcast is for the quiet leaders, the deep feelers, the people on a healing path, or maybe just beginning their own healing path. If you're seeking a space that honors realness over perfection, this is for you. Each week, I will be sharing a mix of heartfelt solo episodes from me and guest conversations with people who have lived deeply and dared greatly. Together, we will explore themes like authentic living, emotional intelligence, grief and growth, rebuilding after trauma, self-discovery, boundaries, and learning to belong to ourselves. But this is not just about storytelling. It's about the soulful tools for the journey. I'll also be sharing practical ways to support your emotional well-being. Tools like grounding rituals, somatic resets, journaling prompts, breath work, and the gentle everyday anchors that bring us back to ourselves. Some of these are personal practices I return to often, like my crystal reset rituals that I have created, which help me to reconnect when I'm feeling overwhelmed or untethered. I'll also be inviting listeners to share what works for them, because this is more than a podcast. It's a community of growth, reflection, and shared wisdom. And now I want to give you a taste of what's to come. On launch day next week, Lucy Cronly will be sharing her incredible story. And Lucy is a coach, speaker, and author of The Right Choose. Lucy opens up about her path through adversity, including her son's cancer diagnosis, and how she found clarity and compassion through it all. This story is deeply moving, and I'm honoured to share it with you. So if you just bear with me for a moment, and I will play that clip now for you. Modern technology, hey? Takes a long time. So just 1 second there now. Here we go. Here's a clip I mentioned earlier from Lucy Cronly.
Well, no, he didn't knit. It was me knitting, and he was just offering instructions and suggesting, and suggesting further speed to get there. But we ended up. I think we made nearly €3,000 knitting hats and baby blankets and all kinds of different things, because I got lots of requests then from people to make different things. So it all kind of grew legs then, and of course the trip grew legs then as well, as we ended up doing. We flew into Los Angeles and we did a road trip in a camper van from Los Angeles across the States. We did that over about 3.5 weeks. So it was something that we then looked forward to. Even though times were really tough, there was a plan. There was something that we were working towards. Again, small
episode to welcome you, Lucy's full guest episode, and finally a solo reflection from me to share the deeper why behind this journey. You'll find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all major platforms. I'll be sharing sneak peeks, quotes, and behind the scenes moments on Instagram at Crystal Empowered Self, and on my Facebook account at Empowered Self Podcast. I created this space because I believe that stories heal. When we hear someone else's story and when they speak their own truth, we remember we are not alone. My hope is that every episode of The Empowered Self feels like a soft place to land, a space to feel seen, inspired, and reminded of our own strength. Thank you for being here at the beginning of this journey, and I cannot wait to grow with you. If you'd like a reminder for when the first episodes go live, please leave a comment below, and I'll make sure you're the first to know, or contact me on my social media channels as well. Until then, stay grounded, stay brave, and most importantly, stay true to yourself.